The world is endless, and so are the secrets and mysteries that lie within it. Just like the sands of the Ganges River, there's so much more to discover. Fa Yu is a senior researcher at the Institute of Science. This stone gem is a family heirloom, and because it emits a strange magnetic force, he sent it to a lab for study. But today, when he attached the stone pearl to the electromagnetic restraint, it reacted. A sudden surge of energy destroyed everything in the lab and changed his fate. The man told him that the energy monitor was showing that the pearl was out of control. It looks like it's about to explode. We need to get out of there as soon as possible. The guy said that family heirlooms that had been passed down for 1,000 years couldn't be destroyed by him. As he got closer, he said he'd take him no matter what. As soon as he got the pearl in his hands, something strange started to happen. The guy was unsure what this energy was. Without warning, a massive explosion rocked the area. Fan Yu was filled with concern as he listened to the cracking of the pearl, wondering if he was going to die. When he opened his eyes, the first thing he thought was that he couldn't be dead. He got out of bed and his first thought was, is he still alive? Was this really a hospital? Fan Yu checked his hand and saw that the pearl was still there. He looked around and saw that his house was surrounded by ancient buildings. The first thing he wondered was whether he'd actually entered another world. He noticed that the stone pearl was still there, but damaged. The guy noticed that this hospital was a little different from the others. He decided to go out and take a look. Fan Yu wondered if he was awake. Did the guy really end up in another world? He looked at the pearl in his hand and wondered if it was the power of the stone that had brought him there. Fan Yu noticed that his hands looked different from his own. It felt like he'd woken up in someone else's body. He walked up to the mirror and immediately confirmed his suspicions. It seems he has some memories of the body's owner, but they're not very clear. The previous owner of this body, like him, is named Fan Yu. It seems he was the son of a big family, but the rest of the guy doesn't remember. It seems he died in the explosion. He's not sure which dynasty he's in. Now that the previous version of him is no longer around, he'll be moving on to this era. Let him take a good look at him. He's not bad looking, but he's not as good looking as the guy before. Out of the blue, he heard someone smashing something behind him. Fan Yu turned around and saw a young girl. She let out a shout to announce that the young master was finally awake. The guy wanted to know what was going on. The girl started to make her way over to him, slowly at first. She wanted to know if he remembered being in a coma for 3 whole months. The guy immediately asked, 3 months? What on earth happened? The girl replied that the young gentleman probably didn't remember anything. Had he forgotten about her? He asked again what on earth had happened to him. Once more, he stated that he had no recollection of the incident. She told me that 3 months ago he was walking in the garden on his own. Out of nowhere, a flower pot fell on his head as he was walking. When everyone arrived, he was already unconscious. Mr. and Mrs. Smith invited a number of well-known doctors who were unable to wake him. She was amazed to see him wake up on his own today. He wondered whether this guy had actually died like this. The girl asked the young master if he really had forgotten about her. She's his personal maid, after all. The guy said maybe he'd hurt his head too much. Fan Yu has a bit of a memory lapse. She told him her name was Muran, but he usually called her Lana. Does the young master not remember anything at all? The guy figured it was meant to be. He'd continue to live on behalf of the owner of this body. Out of nowhere, a flower pot fell on his head as he was walking. When everyone arrived, he was already unconscious. Mr. and Mrs. Smith invited a number of well-known doctors who were unable to wake him. She was amazed to see him wake up on his own today. He wondered whether this guy had actually died like this. The girl asked the young master if he really had forgotten about her. She's his personal maid, after all. The guy said maybe he'd hurt his head too much. Fan Yu has a bit of a memory lapse. She told him her name was Muran, but he usually called her Lana. Does the young master not remember anything at all? The guy figured it was meant to be. He'd continue to live on behalf of the owner of this body. The girl said it looked like he'd lost not only his memory, but also some of his skills. Fan Yu said that he was in pain and that her hand was too heavy. Muran was quick to ask if the young master was okay. The girl said she didn't think the young master had lost any of his skills. The guy didn't get what she was talking about straight away. Muran replied that he was a genius at the late stage of Ming Dao, but not so much now. The guy was curious. Is it the Ming Dao stage? Is this the world of martial arts? Had he really taken over the body of a practitioner? The girl said the most important thing is that he's still alive. Then she realized he should let his mother know as soon as possible that he was awake. The young man asked which mother? Why not just come clean from the start? The girl suggested that the young man accompany her to his mother's house. She said she'd fill him in on his life story on the way. He started asking where his clothes were. The girl brought it, and said he should put it on and head to the palace. His name is Fan Yu and he's the main son of the Fang family, the most mysterious and influential clan in Jishui country. The Fang clan had a strong presence in the east, with a hand in all areas of business and trade. The reason why his clan was considered mysterious and prestigious was because the Jishui country was the clan's bloodline. Although the clan didn't show themselves to possess supremacy at the top of the world, they never lacked strong practitioners. Muran told the young master that they had come. This was the place. The girl told him that the lady of the house was waiting for him inside that house. The boy asked his mom? But he doesn't remember anything. Seeing the young master, the woman said that he had finally you back. Tears immediately came to her eyes. She said that finally the boy was back. What a joy it was. She said she was going to see how his head wound was healing. Looking at her, he asked who was this madam? Terrified, the woman replied that she was his mom. She then fainted. I asked him if he didn't remember anything at all. Muran tried to bring madam to her senses. She asked her to wake up. Fan Yu replied that he really didn't know. Waking up, the woman asked why her son didn't recognize his own mother. The boy realized that this body's memories were fragmentary. It would take him a while to remember everything. Suddenly, he felt a hard blow. He didn't realize what he had done wrong? Why did he keep getting hit? Seeing the gentleman, the maid said he had lost his memory. Let the man not blame him. The man asked if this was amnesia? The guy realized that if you think about it, the owner of this body seems to have been beaten a lot in his family. Grabbing the boy's head sharply, the man shouted that he was finally back. Looking at the gentleman, not thinking long, the lad asked who he was. Hearing that word, the gentleman asked, is he even in his right mind? Didn't even recognize his own father after returning? After hearing how it all happened, the man asked if that was the case. Is that why he didn't recognize his parents? Muran replied that perhaps the young lord had not fully recovered from his injury, so he could not remember anything. Fan Yu realized that it wasn't because he was sick. It's just that the guy is not her master, but a completely different person. Madam said she was afraid only a strong Taoist could restore her son's memory. Muran replied that that was right. She had completely forgotten. The old master was supposed to leave town today. She will go to the library and ask the old master to help restore the young master's memory. The lord replied that it should not be difficult for the old master to restore their son's memory. He ordered the girl to take his son to the library for help. The girl replied that okay. They were on their way. Grabbing the young master, she said they had to go. You asked her to go easy on him. When she led him to the library, the girl said that this was it, and that the young master should go on his own. He asked if the girl would not go with him. Muran replied that she would wait for him there. She was sure the old master would be able to help restore his memory. Once inside, the guy asked why no one was already there. He decided to say hello loudly, as suddenly, a silhouette appeared behind him, telling him to keep quiet in the library. The man said that here he was. Finally his dear boy was back. Take him away. The young master shouted that it was a monster. Don't let him come any closer. The man said his father told him he'd lost his memory. He didn't think it could be that serious. How could a guy forget his grandfather? With his energy, the man decided to see what could be done. Suddenly, sparks flew from the guy's body in different directions. He didn't realize what was happening. Grandpa said it looks like there's no damage. He said it could easily be repaired with external stimulation. But something is wrong with this child's soul. Perhaps he damaged his soul last time? He said it's a little difficult to treat this way, after which he asked if the guy remembered anything. Fan Yu replied to his grandfather that he could feel the changes in his body. But there are still things that the guy can't remember. The man replied that he thought the boy was already remembering little by little. The fact that he remembered his grandfather was a good start. The young master said that the man in front of him is Fan Yu, his grandfather. Fang Tianxing is the supreme elder of the clan, and the best expert. Even in the entire eastern continent, he is the best. The young gentleman said he could feel the power flowing through his body. He asked if it was spiritual power. The guy seemed to have gotten stronger. The man replied that it was because his cultivation had returned, but his soul was still damaged. His memory was still recovering, so the treatment would take some time. Fan Yu couldn't believe that he was now a cultivator. Grandfather said he was coming with him. He has another way to restore his soul. As he approached the huge door, the man said that this was it. Touching it with his staff, he commanded it to open. He talked about how it was the Fang family's greatest secret. If it broke out, he feared the whole world would perish. It would be a great disaster. Looking at something incomprehensible, the guy asked what was so unusual about it. The grandfather told the guy that they needed to go inside. As he entered, he felt a very great pressure. As soon as the guy went through that gate, Grandpa told him to look away. The young gentleman asked, "And what is it?" Suddenly, he saw an incomprehensible monster in front of him. Grandpa said, "That's right, it's a basilisk. More specifically, a half-dead basilisk." The man said that about 40,000 years ago their ancestors found this heavy wounded basilisk there. They had to pay a large sum of money and even blow up a great treasure to imprison this monster for the rest of its life in this small place. It can be said that the entire current word of the Fang family is bestowed upon them by this beast. Only the head of the family, or the heir, has the ability to see the true face of the basilisk. The guy thought that no matter how strong Fang was, there was no way to stop the world from falling. It was only a matter of time before the world was destroyed. Grandfather said that the ancestors of the clan had discovered a technique to cultivate the power in the soul of this beast, and in order not to lose it, only a bloodline master could practice it. There's also a chance to become a true immortal faster without using the usual methods. The ancestors unfortunately never reached the highest level. His grandfather and father had to choose other techniques, so the chance to use a great technique went to him. As it turned out, the boy turned out to be the perfect candidate. Pointing his staff towards the monster, Grandpa shouted the word "appear." As soon as the basilisk opened its mouth, a huge bead appeared from there. She immediately headed towards the guy. Fan Yu asked his grandfather, "What is it?" The man said that the immortal Huangwu Sutra is inside this bead. Suddenly, cracks began to appear on its surface. As it cracked, a huge scroll appeared in front of the boy. The young lord didn't even have time to realize anything before this scroll flew towards him. He immediately told his grandfather that she had entered his body. The man replied not to worry. The grandfather said that this technique would automatically be absorbed into his soul and no one could take it away from him. The boy asked if it was connected to him now. The man said that he needed a huge amount of heaven and earth's spiritual essence to practice the immortal technique. But if he doesn't have this spiritual ring, he'll die if he wants to practice. Grandpa entrusts this ring to him too, hope the guy keeps it. Now let him go to the practice room, close himself up, and learn the secret technique of the immortal Huangwu Sutra. Also let him remember, he has to keep it a secret. No one should be told about it. Fan Yu replied that he would keep it a secret. As it turned out, the young gentleman spent a full 3 months in the practice room. As soon as he opened his eyes, rocks flew in all directions from the powerful flow of energy. As soon as the powerful flow of energy stopped, the guy realized that he had broken through to the realm of the sea. He is much stronger thanks to his grandfather's resources, but he still has a long way to go. From the lowest stage to the highest, cultivation can be divided into 7 realms. Young master is only on the 2nd step. When will he be able to finish his training? Approaching the young gentleman, the maid said that he makes a lot of noise when he is practicing. She can feel the vibrations from afar. Seeing the girl, the young master was very excited. Approaching him, the girl offered the young gentleman a taste of her tonic tea first. He said that she was such an attentive and nice girl. Then he asked her why she should not be his wife. Not thinking long, the girl replied that she was not worthy to be his bride. Besides, the young gentleman was already married. The guy immediately asked where he got his fiancée from. Why doesn't he know anything about her? Muran said that his memory has not been fully recovered yet. His fiancée is the daughter of the Yu family from Lu country. Her name is Chan Yu and she is a famous beauty. Looking at her with frightened eyes, the young gentleman replied that he remembered nothing. By his own efforts, the man tried to restore the girl's health. He talked about how he was using all the powers he could, but nothing was working. The elder Puyu revealed that he had done his best but could not keep her alive. The man replied that Mr. did his best, but in the end his daughter's illness could not be cured by medicine. Since that was the case, why didn't he stay there a little longer so he could thank him properly as the master of the house? Bowing, the man said he was sorry for his loss, but was now advised to send his daughter somewhere out of the house for her safety. Looking at his daughter's body, the man said that it was a great irony that he, Yu Liang, who had such a long life, could not even protect his daughter. Calling one of the guards, he ordered that the Fang family be immediately notified of his daughter's death. He fears that the long-awaited dream of a wedding between the two families is not realizable. The grandfather told the young gentleman that he had news for him. His wife was dead. The guy asked if she was dead. How did that happen? He hadn't even seen her yet. The master said that he was a close friend of Yu Liang, and was betrothed to his daughter even before he was born. The young gentleman still could not accept that his fiancée, whom he had never met, had died. Grandpa said he will visit the Yu family tomorrow to pay his respects to the bride. It was good that the secret realm would soon be opened and the young master would be able to see the outside world. The guy thought to himself that for sure, he hadn't had a single experience in combat in all his training. Holding out something in his hand, his grandfather told him that it was a golden light talisman. Let him take it for protection. These talismans are very valuable, and should be used in times of great danger. Let him remember, you need to be careful out there, staying out of trouble. The young master warned his grandfather that he was leaving right away. He replied that okay, let him be careful, send Qingjun along with him. On the way there, the young master asked Uncle Jun where they were now. The man replied to the young master that they had almost reached Qingyang Mountain. It was getting late, so they would have to camp there for the night. The young master replied that well, they will follow Uncle Jun's experience. He ordered everyone to stop, to let their horses rest. They would camp there for the night. When he approached the young gentleman, the man asked him for something to eat. He then warned him not to sleep in the street, as it was dangerous. Fan Yu asked if this place was dangerous. The man said that this was the Chu border region, which was often invaded by bandits and demons. The young master thought, bandits and demons? Can't wait for them to show up so he can test his skills against them. Where we were standing on the edge of the mountain, the girl said it looks like this time it's a family group. Let these two be careful. The demon replied that they were all the same, just a bunch of useless people. They would eat well this time. The second replied that this time he would eat 10, and let no one dare to argue with him. She replied that whoever kills them first becomes his property. She doesn't care who they eat, but the prince of the imperial family belongs to her. They all began to transform into their usual appearance. Without thinking, the girls shouted to them, "Checking your territory." One of the guards noticed something suspicious. Before he could shout anything, he was immediately killed. As soon as he was killed, the demon shouted for everyone else to come out. She said they can do what they want with the others, but they can keep the son from that family. As the man walked out of the room to the outside, he asked what was that noise out there? He was immediately attacked and killed by a demon. Watching everything going on, the girls said that these hunters were useless. She wondered which tent the prince was in. Suddenly, a young gentleman came out of the tent and asked why it was so noisy outside. Looking towards the very same girl, he wondered if it was a demon or a monster. She spotted the prince. As she flew closer to him, she offered to go with him. Let her have him as soon as possible. The young gentleman managed to step back a little. Seeing her hand with its huge claws fly past his face, the guy thought to himself, that was pretty close. Watching as he flew into the air, the demon asked, "Are they already, or does the young master want to run?" She yelled that it wasn't that easy, then rushed after him. The young master was happy that he had mastered the Fang family's flying technique. Now she wouldn't be able to catch up to him. Demon said that yes, he was pretty fast, but a bipedal man couldn't be faster than a winged man. Getting as close to the young lord as possible, she told him to come with her, for the demon would be kind to him. After the punch, the guy landed on his feet. He said she was so fast, the lord had forgotten she had wings. The demon shouted at him that he couldn't escape. She would catch him any way she could. Fighting monsters, the guards realized they were too strong. What should they do against them? Qingjun said that it was because of their lack of training that they were in such a poor state against those two beasts. It's a disgrace to the Fang family. Threatened to deduct 3 months' salary when they returned. Without thinking long, the leader urged those two bastards to come closer to him. The demons were talking about how he seems to be a pretty strong guy. Should they wait for Ainsan to join them? The other replied that he was becoming more and more cowardly for bothering his big sister for such a trifle. The two of them would tear him apart. The leader yelled that it had been a long time since he had done anything, so was going to move a muscle. Exhaling, He shouted that he was about to show these two demons the Fong family's kung fu. With a single blow of his own, the man was able to tear both demons apart. Watching all this happening, the guards said that here comes the real leader. One move and the monsters are dead. The leader shouted how dare they even come there and rob the Fong family. Looking at one of the tents, the man shouted that it looked like the young lord was being pursued by another demon. He ordered everyone to find the young master as quickly as possible. Don't let anything happen to him. The man realized that if anything happened to the master, they would definitely die. But with his current level of development, he should be able to cope. Watching the demon frantically trying to reach him, the young master asked, "Is she alright?" Insan didn't understand how this guy could be so fast. She can't touch him with all her strength. Looking at her, the young gentleman said he thought she was going to be strong. Afterwards he said he was disappointed. If she really wants to eat it, she should obviously try harder. Flying into the air, she shouted, "Who wants to eat a human?" The demon just wants his bloodline. Once she got as close to him as possible again, hitting her, he said let her get some sleep. The young gentleman wondered, pedigree? He didn't understand what she was talking about. Running up to the young lord, the leader was glad that he had managed to catch that demon alive. Turning to these guys of yours, she said that apparently they really know how to tie people up. The young gentleman shouted at her to shut up. Then he asked why they attacked them, to eat people? The leader told the boy that it was half human. It is said that they do not eat humans, but they often kidnap young men and mate with them, producing offspring. The young master asked if demons and humans could have children together. At this point she shouted that now that he had caught her, she would do whatever he wanted. The guy asked if she wanted to have kids with him. Too bad he doesn't want them yet, but it would be a shame to kill her. Insan asked then what does he want? Fan Yu said a control spell. She had fallen under his spell, so she would have to obey his orders, would serve him tea and water. Cutting all the ropes on her, the young master told her not to even try to resist. The girl said that a great opportunity must have come up. Suddenly she was electrocuted. The young master told her that it causes lightning strikes. She realized it was over, she couldn't escape him for the rest of her life. He said that the Fong clan's secret magic was so useful that it could be used to recruit a huge number of servants. When the young lord rules the world, all the wealth and all the beautiful things in the world will be his. Suddenly, the leader told him that he was from a good family. Turning to Uncle June, the young master asked did they not ride at night to avoid being ambushed? The leader replied that they did. The man shouted bloody sacrifice. All around, red liquid spurted from all sides. He kept asking Her Highness to wake up. A red liquid enveloped the girl's entire body. The man said that the Blood Lotus Maiden is returning to her throne. Everyone should bow down. Suddenly, the girl said that the elder moon was getting careless. Bowing, the man said that he didn't understand what she meant. She said it turns out they're being followed and they don't even know it. The man immediately asked where? The guys realized that they had been discovered. Now it was definitely time for them to leave. The girl shouted, do they really want to escape? Pointing two bloody arrows, one of the men she killed. Landing on his feet, the man told his friend that he should hurry back and tell Master Yu what was going on there. Watching him run away, the man yelled to his boys to catch him as soon as possible. As soon as the girl heard that, she asked me to wait. Said he was a strong fighter, maybe they wouldn't be able to catch him. Putting on her new blood-red outfit, she shouted that she would track him down and catch him herself. Figured that if she couldn't catch the little spy, how could she get everyone to obey? The elders would get a bad impression of her. As he ran away, the man said he was more than confident in his speed. Suddenly he felt something grab his leg. As he looked at the ground, he realized it was a shadow. As it turned out, he'd been caught. After landing on the ground, the girl told him that he was a fast runner. Then she asked him how dare he run away from her hands? The man realized that he was still a little slow. He started to say that his name was Miao Qian, and he and Chan Yu had always been good friends. The girl asked Chan Yu? She said that there was no one with that name in this world. The man realized that he only needed a little more time. He tried to do something as quickly as possible. The girl asked, does he want to leave? Then she will do as he wants and send him to the underworld of ghosts. As soon as she aimed her arrow in his direction, that formation opened. Her blow was so strong that there was a massive explosion. She moved as close as she could to where he was standing. The girl asked the teleportation formation? Could he open a teleportation array in an instant? No one had escaped from it yet, right? If he did escape, sooner or later she would tear him into small pieces and burn his soul with the bloody fire of the dungeon. Stretching his arms into the sky, the young master said how wonderful the morning wind was. Then he asked his uncle how much farther they had to go. The leader replied that they were now on used land, and if nothing happened they would be there by evening. The guy replied that it was pretty fast. Heading towards the gentleman, Ain-san offered him a drink of the hot tea she had just prepared. The young master replied that let her continue to serve him well, and he would not treat her badly in the future. As soon as he took his first sip of tea, he saw something strange in the sky. The young master immediately asked what it was. He was watching so intently that he didn't even notice something flying at him. Looking at the young gentleman on whom the body of a man lay on top, the leader and the girl asked who it was. Fan Yu started asking who he was. Why did he fall from the sky? Is he there to kill the young master? The man replied that he meant no harm. He was being chased by enemies and had to use a random teleportation array, so there was a misunderstanding. He asked which array happens to be teleporting? It just doesn't work for him, he can't control the direction. The man said that his name was Miao Qian and he was a cultivator from Lu County, Chu Province. The man had just fled there after an unsuccessful battle. The leader had told the young master that they just needed a guide to go to Lu Province, so why wouldn't he show them the way? The young gentleman replied that it was okay, he just had to show them the way and then they would forgive him. The man replied that he would be happy to do so. He thought of being able to escape at any moment when none of them could catch up with him. Putting shackles on his hands, the young lord told him not to run away. Let him wait until they reached the county before they let him go. While the elder was performing the necessary ritual with the next girl, she appeared. The girl asked when they would finally return to the Holy Land. It wasn't safe for her there. After greeting Her Highness, the elder immediately asked if she had killed that insect. The girl replied that insect had escaped. She had not yet regained the strength to use her magical abilities. He asked if the girl had not yet adapted to the body. Mistress answered that in the back of her mind she could still hear that girl's voice. Her persistence is so strong that she can't fully control this body. The elder replied to Her Highness that the most important thing for her right now was to get this body under control as soon as possible. She knows the consequences if they don't pass the holy ground test. They can't afford that. The girl replied that she knew what her priorities were, so don't let her worry, but she needed to recover her cultivation before she could control this body. The elder replied that he knew she hadn't regained her strength yet, but they had more important things to do right now. He would like to ask her to help him with that. The young mistress replied that she understood, but it was Elder Moon's personal matter, she would only help this time. Once she disappeared, the elder said that let her not be so cocky. The whole point of her coming back to life was to avenge Yu Liang for him. He said that the day had finally come when all the pain the man had endured would be experienced 1,000 times more by him. Seeing Changming, the elder asked, why did he enter without warning? If it happened again next time, he wouldn't forgive him. He asked what the man was doing there. Changmin replied that his family had made all the arrangements. They are waiting for his people from the Holy Spirit sect to act. The elder replied that, as expected from the 1,000-year-old family, the efficiency was indeed high. Although they have a cooperative relationship, but to dispose of the Yu family, especially Yu Liang should be himself, the man let him not go beyond the scope of authority. The elder shouted that he would tear him to pieces. The man thought it was true that all those holy spirits are full of crazy people, better be careful. The leader said that this was the place. The man added that his mission was accomplished, so it was time to part. But he wondered why the doors were closed in broad daylight. He turned to the clerk and asked him to open the doors. Suddenly, the young lord noticed something was wrong. The guard threw his spear straight in their direction. It flew straight at one of the men. With one swipe of his hand, the young gentleman snapped him in half and told him to be careful. Before he could say a word to his uncle, he was already flying towards the guard. The lord only asked him to let him live. With just one move of his own, the leader destroyed most of the fence. Seeing this, the young lord realized that it looked like there was no one left alive. Looking at the young gentleman, the leader asked did he say something? The boy replied that he had said nothing. Then he turned to the man and said he could leave. But the situation in the neighborhood is strange, so let him be careful. Turning to the rest of the guards, the young lord ordered them to stay where they were and not to go anywhere. Turning to Uncle Jun, the young master asked him to go on a reconnaissance mission with him. Watching them getting farther away, the man said that if anything happened to the Yu family, he wouldn't get his reward. After that, he immediately followed them. When they landed in the city, they saw that all the streets were empty, but they didn't understand what was going on there. They decided to go straight to Yu's residence. Yu Liang asked Changming Hongyu what it means. The guy replied, can't he see what it means? Of course, destroying the Yu family. By destroying them, they will have one less competitor among the great families. The man replied that he was afraid it wasn't enough to ruin his Yu family. As soon as the elder appeared, the man asked how about adding him to the group. The elder told Julian that they hadn't seen each other for a long time. Taking off the cape from his head, he told what this man had done to him in the past. Does he know how much the elder hates him? It's his face that he can't show for years, and that he suffers from every day. The man replied that he had made a huge mistake when he had let him escape in the past. The elder replied that now that he had united with the Changming family, he wouldn't be able to escape. The Lord replied that even if the elder could kill him, he would pay a terrible price. The elder replied that yes, he knew his power, but he didn't need to confront them directly. He'd better see who's out there. He shouted that she was his daughter. The girl replied that no, she was not his daughter. The master replied that yes, he had seen his daughter being buried. He realized that she was possessed, the soul of the possessed would be consumed, and she would not be able to be reborn in the next life. The man shouted, how dare the elder do this to his daughter's body? He would incinerate them all. The elder ordered His Highness to kill the man, and then they would return to the Holy Land. The girl replied that she understood. Apologizing in advance, Mistress said they had no hard feelings toward each other. Laughing, the elder asked if he had the courage to fight against his own daughter. As soon as the young mistress was able to deliver her blow, the elder asked did it really work. The girl asked without resistance. For decency's sake, he could have dodged at least a punch. Looking at his daughter's body, the Lord Father would save her soul. The girl screamed that she was not his daughter, for she said his daughter was dead. From the hardest blow delivered, the gentleman's body flew off and smashed the wall. She said that if he was ready to die, she would let him. Master asked permission to ask just one question. Is his daughter's soul still within her? The girl replied that his daughter's soul was constantly haunting her. When she recovered, then she could erase it. He asked, is it true? Then the Lord is now taking his daughter's soul. The girl asked what he was talking about. Suddenly, everything around her shone with a bright light. She couldn't understand what it was. Looking at her, Mr. Yu said that she wouldn't be able to escape his family's protective information. The girl started screaming that she couldn't move. Then she asked if it was a restriction formation. Getting as close to the girl as possible, he shouted for her to return his daughter's soul. The elder shouted out that there seemed to be information in the house. He realized the sainted maiden was trapped. Heading towards the house, he ordered the man to follow him. Said they had to save her. Crashed into something and didn't realize it was a barrier. The elder said that the old fox had already set a trap. He was obviously careless, after which he immediately suggested to the man that they blow up that formation together. Both blows were directed toward the barrier. The barrier was shattered by the strongest blow. Seeing this, the elder asked, did it really work? Seeing his daughter's soul separated from her body, the man said all he could do was let her be reborn in the next life. If his daughter has other wishes, he will do his best to fulfill them. The girl replied that she was just happy to see her father again. Then she asked him to apologize to Fan Yu on her behalf and disappeared. Crying, he said that even though he couldn't protect her life, he did his best to free her soul. Ahead of them, the boys saw the residence of the Yu family. A man asked them to stop, saying there was a barrier, but he doesn't know who installed it. When he came there before, there was no such formation. The leader asked the formation? Let the boys watch him destroy it. The boy asked his uncle not to destroy the gate of the residence. At the last blow, they saw that there was no result. The man asked how could such a formation be destroyed by brute force? Turning to him, the young gentleman asked if he could break the information and let them in. The man replied that he was a master pharmacist. Let them watch him now. She may be strong, but she only needs to be attacked at one point. He said it would be easy to break that information. After hitting one point, the man said it was ready. They could go in. Calling the man a bastard, the leader asked how he could force the young gentleman to climb into such a dog hole. The guy replied that it was okay, he would go first. Climbing through such a small hole, the young gentleman said that the fat man had made the entrance too narrow. Suddenly, Right next to the young gentleman was a man who asked how did the thief get in there? He asked the guy what, does he want to die? How dare he come there? The young master replied that his name was Fang Yu, and he wanted to pay his respects to their family's master. Suddenly, the man asked, does the Yu family even have outside help? Pouncing on the young gentleman, the man yelled for him to go to hell. Thankfully, the boy had a good reaction. He didn't understand what was going on with the Yu family. Once they all got together, the young master said that he seemed to have been rude to him. How could he explain this to Uncle Yu now? The man replied that no, he was not a member of the Yu family. Besides, the clothes he was wearing belonged to the immortal guard of the Changming family. Seeing a powerful explosion in front of him, the young lord shouted that there was fighting. It looked like the Yu family's residence had been invaded. The leader said that from the looks of it, this is the work of the Changming family. It seems they are too late. The young gentleman replied that things were bad. They should inform grandfather about the situation there. The elder called the head of the Yu family an evil bastard, then asked how dare he harm his own daughter's body? The head shouted for him to shut up. Revenge for his daughter would come back on him doubly. After the strongest impact on the ground, everyone who was near the head flew away from the shockwave. The elder shouted that this time he would fight with all his might. Does the head still have the strength to resist? As soon as the elder's powers began to consume him, he cast away his daughter's soul and ordered her to flee as far away as possible. Her father could no longer protect her. The elder immediately ordered Changming to prevent the girl's soul from escaping. The boy immediately threw a punch. After a huge blow, the elder shouted that the girl's soul was destroyed. This will be the retribution for the head of the Yu family. Suddenly, a young gentleman appeared out of a huge cloud of dust. The boy said that fortunately, he had come just in time. Turning to the soul of the girl, the guy said that he was sorry that he could not fulfill his duty as a groom, could not protect her. The head of the family asked if he was from the Fang family. The young master replied that he was Fang Yu, who had come to help him. The man shouted to him not to come any closer. Let him carry Yu Chang's soul as far away from there as possible. Chang Min yelled out, where did he come from? Let the guy get away. At that, he immediately stood up to strike. Once on the ground, the guy didn't realize what this technique was. How could she block a blow with 6% of his strength? The elder asked, does he really want to help them? It's already too late. Let Yu Liang go to hell. Closing his eyes, the man said he was on his way to his daughter's house. Seeing everything happening with his own eyes, the young lord said that he would avenge them both. Attacking, Chang Min grabbed him with everything. As it turned out, he was once again unable to deal with the young master's blow. The elder thought that it looked like his punch had just drained most of that guy's energy. But judging from his cultivation level, he was able to injure Changming. It's really incredible after all. Calling him a bastard, Chang Min shouted that he would kill him. The young master asked how he would handle the next strike if his energy was depleted. The elder asked Senior Changming not to get so angry. Afterwards, he summoned all his energy and shouted for the little rat to die. Seeing that this attack was quite strong, the young lord decided to use the basalt shield. Fan Yu realized that he could no longer hold back this attack. Suddenly, a fat man appeared right in front of him. The man said that he seemed to have arrived quite on time. Calling him an idiot, the young gentleman asked why he had come only now. Apologizing to him, he replied that it took a while to get things in order. After a powerful blow, a leader appeared. He said that the Changmin family had cooperated with the Holy Spirit sect to destroy the Yu family. Their Fang family would fight against the Changming family, and the Holy Spirit with all the strength of their clan. The elder asked the Fang family had sent people so quickly? Obviously, the information was kept secret. Looking at the young lord, the elder asked what his name was and who was Fang Tianba to him. The young master replied that his name was Fang Yu, the first son of the Fang family. The elder realized that he was Fang Tianba's grandson. Now that was a problem. He said that now that Yu Liang is dead, they won't offend the Fang family, because they should think about it first. Suddenly, Changmin asked, what proof does this guy have? And if he says he's lying, he doesn't think the Fang family will be able to say anything. As soon as he finished speaking, the elder said that was a great idea. They went on the attack. As soon as the leader saw that the young lord wanted to attack, an elder appeared in front of him, and said that he was now his opponent. As it turned out, even such a leader couldn't handle this elder. From one of his blows, the man flew aside. Changmin shouted that let the guy now try to use his counting technique again. Put in front of him, the man shouted that first let it pass him, then used maximum defense formation. With one punch, Ji-min was able to easily get rid of him. Afterwards, he said that the boy should take care of himself first. And then Fan Yu said that in that case, he could only use this, and applied his ability card. The enemy was very surprised, for it was the card that repelled his attack. He asked Fan Yu, where did he get it from? Just then, Fan Yu showed the map to the enemies and didn't say a word. A guy asked him, is this a golden light talisman? The enemy knew that the golden talisman of light, it was the legendary spell of the 9 heavens. Once it was triggered, 100 miles around would turn to dust. Fan Yu said that his carrot worked, and how nice that his grandfather gave it to him. The enemy asked Fan, does he think he's afraid? Let him activate the talisman if he has the courage. The guy told Senior Changming not to be so impulsive. Right now it was more important for them to stay alive. Fan Yu asked Changming, he was scared, wasn't he? Now they can negotiate normally? Fan placed the card in front of him and asked, where had his confidence gone? Did one talisman scare him so much? Didn't Changmin want to kill him? Let him act, why was he hesitating? And then Changmin got angry, and called him a bastard. And then a guy came and said that Fan Yu had such a valuable talisman. Is he overprotected by his family? The elder said that as expected of the young master, the golden light talisman was powerful enough for them to leave safely. Fan Yu said to Changmin, why didn't he say something? How about we discuss the terms? Changmin said that it would be ridiculous due to his early training. And then he decided to open his cloak. Changmin said that his main body is tens of thousands of miles away in the Changmin family residence, and this puppet is just his image. The power of the golden light talisman would only damage his real body by 20%. The guy said that Changmin's body was gone, but he was still here. Fan Yu realized that things were bad. Since they can't escape, then let them die together so he can avenge Uncle Yu. Fan Yu made up his mind and raising the card shouted that he would activate the golden light talisman. And then all the guys around him were surprised, and couldn't believe that he had managed to go to such a step. Fan Yu told the fatty to quickly create a teleportation formation to get Uncle Jun out of here. The guy said that Fan is really crazy, since he did such a thing, right now. Changmin started laughing and said that was great. He's going to die with his puppet too. And then from the sky the voice of his grandfather told Fan that he should not die with such people. When Fan heard this, he was surprised and couldn't understand where the voice was coming from. A blue ray descended from the sky and collided with the golden card at the speed of light, and Fan didn't realize what was happening. This blue light got into the card and managed to deactivate it. Fan looked at it and said it doesn't work, and in a moment, a portal opened and came down from the sky below. The elder smiled and said it was the head of the family. Changmin looked at him angrily and said his name, Fan Tianba. Tianba told Changmin that it had been a long time since they had seen each other. Fan told Grandpa that he had finally come to see him, and Uncle Yu Lian died at their hands. Tianba looked up at the sky and told Brother Yu that he couldn't make it on time and was late, but he would avenge him. And in a moment, Tianba started to show his strength, and told you to stay away from here. Tianba said that the Changming family and the Holy Spirit Church, they are both enemies of the Fang family. Today, he will avenge his brother's death. Changmin told Tianba that he can't be reckless in Chu country because it's not his Chi country. Tianba raised his staff and asked, so what of it? He would definitely be reckless today. Showing all his strength, with a strike of his staff on the ground, lightning flew out, all over the surface, and attacked Changmin. Both enemies were under attack, and tried to counter Tianba's strength. Fan said that this was the first time he saw Grandpa's punch. It was unbelievable. Fatty said his grandpa is really something. He's a great example for them. What a great personality. Fan looked at it, and said that was his grandfather. Tianba's strength was so great and crazy that he didn't stop emitting his magic. The guy said that he couldn't hold on any longer, but in a moment, they both surrendered, and Tianba's power consumed them both, and left wounds on their bodies. Tianba said that he had gotten rid of Changmin, the man from the Holy Spirit Church, and now it was his turn. Tianba asked Changmin if he could withstand being struck by 2 lightning bolts. But the guy couldn't withstand it, and he was struck by the attack. But in a moment the guy opened his eyes, and didn't understand why he was still alive. He looked around and saw that he had been placed in a shield. From the vast dust, a voice sounded out from Mr. Fan, stop and not continue this bloody agony. Tianba looked around and said with hatred that it was King Chu Huai. The guy turned around and saw his king. Tianba said that his brother Yu was killed by those scoundrels. He doesn't understand why the king wants to protect him. King Chu told Mr. Fan that he also knows that the Holy Spirit Church and the Yu family are feuding. This is a family matter, so even if he wants to intervene, it is not wise. Tianba looked angrily and said then he hoped that King Chu would not interfere in this matter. Chu said that the Chu kingdom is here, and the Chengmi family is one of the most powerful families in his kingdom, and is loyal to the royal family. He, as the king, can ignore that. Tianba asked that the king just wanted him to forget about his brother's revenge. And then the king decided to offer him something. And the king said, how about in a few days, the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion will be revealed. So how about they leave the oids to the younger generation for now? Tianba said since His Majesty insisted on it, he had nothing to say, so he would follow his advice and leave it to the younger generation. Chu rejoiced and said it was great, as expected from Mr. Fan. But then Fang shouted to his grandfather and asked, couldn't they avenge the death of the Yu family today? Tianba apologized to his grandson and said there was nothing he could do about it, so he put revenge for the death of Yu's family on him. Fang said he would do everything he could to avenge his death. And whoever took Yu Chan's body, he won't forgive. But suddenly the creatureless girl came to her senses and asked what had happened to her. Looking around, she recognized the fat man. The fat man greeted her and said they hadn't seen each other in a long time. The girl said he was the fat bastard. She said that last time she let him get away, but this time she would cut him into little pieces. But then the guy told the girl to stop. Now is a special situation. Their grievances with them can be settled in 3 days in the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion. Fang asked the fat man, does he know her? The fat man said she's the Blood Lotus Maiden from the Holy Spirit Church. Fang said that meant she was the one who took Yu Chan's body. And then Fang decided to address her in an unflattering way. He pointed his finger at her and said that he would kill her to pay tribute to the spirits of the entire Yu family. The girl told Fan to come to her and give it a try if he can still do it. Leaving through the portal, she said they would definitely see each other in the secret realm of the Celestial Lion. The guy started laughing and said that how dare Fan say that he would kill a Blood Lotus Maiden with his C-sphere level cultivation. Chang'an said this is as expected from Master Fan's grandson. He is looking forward to seeing him in the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion. Tianba said they would meet again. So to calm their nerves, they decided to turn everything there into a monument. Tianba told Brother Yu that he hoped his brother would forgive him. He was unable to avenge his death. Fan told his grandfather not to worry. He would be sure to avenge his death. Tianba said that Fang was going to the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion today, as it would open in 3 days. Fang said that he would go then. The fatty asked Tianba if he could give him a place in the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion. He would protect young gossiping Fan. Tianba said well, and reminded them that the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion is full of dangers. It is better to have a companion who can help. Fatty obliged young Master Fan with joy and said that he would take good care of him. Fang said that he was sure that the fatty just wanted to get his hands on the treasures in the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion. Tianba said that there were many young talents from different families participating in the secret realm this time, so they should be very careful, especially with the Changming family and the Holy Spirit sect. Fang told Grandpa not to worry. And then he remembered and told Grandpa to take care of it. Fang took out the orb and said that he wasn't sure, but maybe Grandpa had a way to save Yu Chang's soul. Tianba said that he was using a secret technique to support her, so don't let him worry. Fang said angrily that he would make the Blood Lotus Maiden pay for everything. The young disciples from Qi and Chu countries gathered near the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion. The royal family was among them. The man said that he welcomes everyone. Every 10 years, the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion opens up, and he's sure they'd been waiting for this for a long time. This time, the Heavenly Lion's secret realm would be open for 3 months. No one with a cultivation level above the fetus seed will be able to enter. The rest of the rules need no explanation. And now they may depart. And ordered the gates to be opened. The man said there is risk and opportunity to get treasure in the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion, so participate no matter what. And then the guys took off, and one of them said whoever goes through the portal first gets the treasure. And to get the treasure, Tim has to rely only on his own strength and trust no one. So Fan and Fatty flew to the place, and Fan asked, "Is this the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion? Why is there no one there?" The fat man said they might be too late. And then the gates started to close and the boys had to get there in time. Fan said it was the fat man's fault. They were moving too slow. The fat man said the master is blaming him again. Using more speed, the boys managed to skip through the gate and landed not softly. Fatty said this is a secret realm. It's very quiet here. Fan said not to be careless. Grandpa said this place is full of demonic beasts. The fat man smiled and said that besides the dangers, there were many treasures. Fong said it was time for them to go. They didn't realize they were being followed, and the girl seeing them was glad they had come here too. The girl told the mistress that the most important thing for them right now was to finish the task, and they would deal with them later. Mistress said she didn't need to say anything. Let her go and do what she needed to do. She would be there for her. Along the way, the boys came across a bright blue crystal that was near the road, and there was no one near it. The fat man was surprised and said that rare minerals could be found everywhere here. You can get a lot of money for a few of them. Fan said that these are just unnecessary things. The main purpose of them coming is to improve their skills, so don't waste your energy. Fatty said that Fan is rich, he has everything he needs. Of course he doesn't worry about money, but he is very short of it. Fatty said he should dig it up and get some. It must be worth at least 20,000 silver coins. But looking in front of him, the fat man saw two red silhouettes in the black forest that were moving straight towards him. Fan had time to use his powers, and used rain magic to shred the beast's head and save the fat man. Fan told the fat guy, he's fine. Fatty said it's only been 3 days, but this guy's skills have grown so much. He hadn't seen him training, so how did he manage to become so strong? Fan told the guy, if he wants to live, he doesn't touch anything, it might attract demonic beasts. Fatty said well, he would do whatever Fan told him to do, but he had to protect him too. Here came the night. The boys kept walking, without stopping. Fatty asked Fan if he thought there was something wrong with those lights. Fan said right, and he also feels a slight chill. And then those lights began to expand and descend to the ground. Fan asked, what kind of demonic beasts are these? The fatty said that they weren't demonic beasts, but a fire formation. A fire formation? Fan asked. The fat guy said they were now trapped. And Fan saw the attack of the lights and told the guy to duck. The boys were surprised, for they were caught off guard. And now they are using their strength not to die. At this moment, the enemy is behind a tree watching everything. It was the same servant girl who was very angry with them. She said that at last they had fallen into her trap. Looking around and seeing a hole in the ground, she said they were blown to pieces. Fan crept up behind her and asked her if she was sure. The girl turned around sharply and was surprised to see the guy alive. She didn't believe it, and stepped back into the distance. The girl said that he should not be proud of himself. The Maiden of the Blood Lotus has already set traps, in which he will surely die. And then came a slap to her face from behind, which made her fall over and pass out. It was the fat guy. It's a curse, the Holy Church is watching them. Fang said it's the Holy Spirit Church. He didn't corrupt them, but they came to him on their own. Looking around, Fang said, it's too late. They can't walk around to avoid getting trapped again. So they decided to go at dawn. The boys sat down right in the woods and built themselves a fire so they wouldn't be cold at night. The fat man asked, if they start a fire, will the people of the Holy Spirit detect them? Fang told him not to worry. They're all cultivators who haven't reached the fetus seed realm. He has a way to deal with them. But somehow, the spiritual energy here is 100 times denser than outside. With Xuanwu's Immortality Sutra, this spiritual energy constantly enters his Leo and gathers a sea of qi. And why wouldn't they use this place that had rich spiritual energy to take cultivation to the next level? After starting cultivation, and distancing himself from the outside world, Fang said that the Xuanwu Immortal Sutra had been revealed. The fat man asked him what he was doing in the middle of the forest. Why did he start using this technique? Fan couldn't keep quiet and told the fat man that he was practicing meditation. He would have to guard his surroundings. The fat man was startled and asked in surprise, right now? He really is crazy. Basilisk is an ancient true spirit that is one of the 4 sacred beasts existing among the true immortals. He has a long lifespan, and when he faces an invincible enemy, he hides somewhere and bides his time to kill the enemy. But 1,000 years pass, he is still alive, and his enemy is dead. How did the basilisk gain true immortality? Maybe it's the law of time. The law of time. Everything in this world perishes because of the passage of time. Only those who master this law will exist forever. The fatty was startled and said Fan was all glowing. Did he really think that no one would notice them? Luckily he's here, otherwise other people would have killed him. He has set traps around to prevent people with bad intentions from approaching. But it's not a permanent remedy. He'd better wake up soon before it's too late. And then the mistress came and said that it was really them guys. The fat man sharply turned around and saw the mistress with her subordinates. The mistress smiled and said that they had met again. The fat man was surprised to see the Blood Lotus Maiden. The maiden said, "How dare this guy engage in cultivation here? Is he really that fearless?" Fatty prepared his powers and asked the maiden what she needed. The maiden said he was still using the teleportation formation, but if the fat man left, the one behind him would be in trouble. But the fat man did not leave, and stood still. Fatty saw that the maiden was attacking him, and said that he needed to block it. But her strength was great, and he could not do it. Devo asked the fat man, was this his defense formation level? The fatty realized that their cultivation gap was too big. Devo didn't bother to get her hands dirty, and ordered her subordinates to kill this fat man. The fat man stood still, for he realized where his traps stood. And then the girls ran into them. The fat man was smart, and realized that he couldn't handle them alone. The maiden was surprised to see the traps. Fatty said they were killed instantly. If she had the courage, let her approach him, she would too. Maiden said that the fat man could create formations that were undetectable. The maiden was confident, and stepping on the traps said that the fatty's cultivation level limited the strength of the formation. If he wanted to harm her, his cultivation level must be at least at the level of a fetus seed. The fat man realized that his affairs were bad, for his traps were useless against the maiden. Virgo said that the effect of this formation is like a scratch that doesn't hurt her anything. Maiden said that she knew what kind of technique this guy practiced, but he still hadn't woken up at such a critical moment. The fat man got angry and told her to stay away. But the maiden launched an attack and told him to get lost. And then Fatty stopped beside Fan. From such a blow, he started coughing up blood. Virgo said it was very touching. He refused to leave to protect this guy. Well then, they will die together. But then Fong told the girl that she was interfering with his training, and immediately attacked her, through the portal. The maiden was surprised, from such strength, and how he was able to attack her. But she couldn't dodge, and took it all on herself. Fan stopped practicing and said she was just a pain in the ass. Looks like their grudge will be resolved at this point, the fat man said, finally waking up. He already thought they were going to be finished today. Fan said he was conscious the whole time, and saw him trying hard to protect him. Fatty asked then why the hell didn't he help him when he was being beaten. The maiden said their tomboys were not to be underestimated. And then she used her field strength. The power was so great that its light of energy spread throughout the forest, and was very visible. Fawn asked, "What is that?" The fat man thought, and said it was amazing, but it's a field. A field of magnification, asked Fawn? Fatty said that there are rumors that the power of this field can only be used by Hong Realm masters. This woman must be no higher than a fetus seed realm to be able to come here. Could it be that she has the ability to conceal her cultivation to enter the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion? The maiden didn't listen to them and immediately attacked. Fawn noticed the attack coming and told the fatty to get out of the way. Fawn told the fat man to use his formation to escape from here, and not to hurt himself. The fatty took it on and said that it was impossible. The strength of this field far surpassed his cultivation. Fawn decided to try it too, and he was very curious if the law of time could destroy the force of the field. And then he saw a gap in the field. Fan didn't slow down, and increasingly used his magic. The fatty shouted that the field strength was dissipating. Maiden noticed that the boys had destroyed her field and saw them start to run away from her. She couldn't believe it, and wondered how they had managed to get through the field. But then a girl came running to her screaming. The girl said the most important thing right now was to find that thing. Other things better put aside. The maiden has spoken correctly. What is most important now is the resurrection of the old ancestor above the level of the Holy Realm. The maiden told Fawn that this time she would let him go. And then the boys all ran away and didn't look back. Fan told the fat man to use the teleportation formation sooner rather than later. He wouldn't be able to handle that woman if she caught up to them. Fatty said he didn't know where she'd send them. And now he's going to take his chances. The fat man succeeded, and he moved them through teleportation. But they landed very painfully. Fan asked, "What is this place? Is the moon red like blood? And the terrain is different from before." Fan asked the fatty where he had teleported them to. The fatty said that the mysterious heavenly lion realm covered a huge area, on which there are many unknown points scattered everywhere. He believes that this is one of those points. Fang asked him how would they get back if they got lost. And then Fang froze, and began to feel something. Fang asked, "What is this feeling?" "It's the Zhu Xuanwu ring betrayed to him by his grandfather." Fang decided to open his palm and saw the magic. Fang said that Xuanwu's spirit ring must be feeling something. It's constantly trembling in his hand. Fan looked at the ring and looking around said it was in the direction behind the mountains. Heading in the direction of the ring, Fang said it must be around here somewhere. And then they saw a large door, behind the mountain. Fang asked, "Is this the place where Xuanwu's spirit ring led to?" Fatty said, "It seems to be the eyes of the formation. There must be a cave underneath." Fang said, "There's so much pressure here. Is this really where the great ancestor is located?" Fatty walked over and said that he would try to open the eyes of the formation. Applying his magic on the door, the fat man was unable to withstand his power, and was pushed away from him. Fawn used his power and caught him. Fawn asked him if he was okay. The fat man said he was fine, he couldn't break him in the usual way. The fat man told Fan to take a look. An inscription appeared on this door. Fan walked over and started to read it. "He is Daozi, here today to fight the true spirit of Xuanwu, who is badly wounded in a moment will return to hell, but there no less desires to find a way out for his descendants. He wants to hope that those with destiny will help the Xiantian clan with their spiritual items. A person who is destined to go through trials." Fang told Fatty to find a way to open the eyes of the formation. Fatty said he would try his best. Don't let him be blamed if he couldn't open it. The fat man stood in front of the door and said he would do the search. Let him give him some time. Fang thought, who was Xiantian? He fought with Xuanwu. Could it be the wounded Xuanwu basilisk from the Fang family came here? Fatty said he found a way. If they destroy this tablet, they can destroy the formation. Fan said that Fatty thinks the people who created this mechanism are that dumb? If it was that easy, someone would have broken it by now. Fatty said that, or maybe no one has been here yet. It's up to Fan alone. He's a simple sidekick, he doesn't have any attacking skills. And then Fatty showed him the weak point of the door, and Fan used his crushing fist. And light began to spurt out from the door. Fan managed to do that, and destroyed this formation. And then Fatty was surprised that this guy had made it so easy. Fan asked, "What's next?" The fat man said it was better for them to wait and see what happens. In a moment the earth started to move and Fang asked, "Is this an earthquake?" And then the ground broke. The boys fell into some tunnel and were immobilized by rocks. But they both survived. Fatty said that the eyes of the formation had collapsed, and it looked like they had been hit by the Xiantian formation. Fang looked around and said that or they had entered a tomb. "Is this the burial place of Elder Xiantian?" Fang said it looked like it. Suggested the fat man go check it out together. But then something strange started happening, and Fang asked what was going on. Fatty looked up and said the tunnel exit was closing. Fang said that they were now completely locked in, and now they can only continue to move forward. Their paths lead nowhere else. Once inside, Fatty said it was a palace, which was buried underground many years ago. A light turned on in front of them and Fang wondered if it had sensed their presence. And then a voice from the palace said that he congratulated the boys and they had passed the first test. Fatty said that this room actually has a mechanism to transmit a sound effect. There are several small rewards in the nearby stone room. They can take any of them. The first stone door, a rewarding elixir. Second, divine power. Third, heavenly items and treasures. The fat man told Fan that they could become rich, and immediately ran to the door where the treasure is. Fan didn't have time to stop him, and told him to forget it. Everything in this world rests on strength. Walking through the door, Fan said that it was the 4 holy spirits, which were spread out in front of him. The red spirit, the scarlet bird, is the guardian of the south. It has the power of rebirth. And the green dragon spirit, guardian of the east. He holds the rules of space. The white tiger spirit, guardian of the west. He holds the law of creation, a very powerful force. And the violet spirit Xuanwu, guardian of the north. He possesses the laws of time. Fang asked if this room could read people's minds. Looking at the purple spirit, Xuan Wufang said that this was what he needed to refine the law of time. Fang made up his mind and took it. Letting it sink in, he thought, had he fully comprehended his law of time? Fang, taking everything, went out, and Fatty told him he was finally out. And how was his strength, he asked. Fang said fine, and asked the fat man what did he get. The fat man said nothing, and showed the sack. Then he said that his spatial bag was full. Unfortunately, the bulk of his spatial bag only consisted of primary magic treasures, and the heavenly treasures were at least 10%. And then a voice told the boys to go to the second level of the challenge. The fat man asked if it would be better for them to move on, or find another way to get out of here. Fan said they're continuing, and he's sure the rewards will be even better. The maiden also came to the place, and said this is it. This is the Great Xiantian Formation. She used her power, and told the doors to open. But then she started to feel something strange. She said her formation skills weren't enough to open it. But then a guy came in and said she's a lady from the Blood Lotus sect, right? How about helping her? The maiden asked who it was. The guy told her not to be afraid. He doesn't have any bad intentions. The maiden asked the guy, is he Xiongzhentian, the Prince of Chu? How did he manage to find this place? The location of this place is a secret of their Blood Lotus sect. Only the elders know about it. Prince Chu said that when she entered the Heavenly Lion's secret realm, she had already been marked by their Chu cultivators using secret techniques. Wherever he was, she would not be able to hide from their eyes. The maiden said good trick, and what was the purpose of their following her? Prince Chu said it was for the sake of secret treasures, and to get the beauty. The maiden asked him how dare he speak so rudely to her? Immediately, she attacked Prince Chu. Prince Chu repelled her blow and said that she was very wild. He was starting to like her even more. The maiden said that Prince Chu would have to pay the price for underestimating their Holy Spirit Church. The maiden drew out her Blood Lotus sword, and immediately went to attack the prince. Chu said she was too slow. Prince Chu showed her his speed, and took her mes with his teeth. When the maiden saw this, she was surprised and could not believe it. Chu didn't hurt her too much, and pushed her away from him. But Maiden wouldn't give up, she said. As expected from a member of the royal family, it seems that he had also lowered his cultivation level to enter the Heavenly Lion's secret realm. Prince Chu said to make her woman, and he would give her a lot of advantages. But here the maiden was more angry with him. The maiden raised her hands and began to say that rage is like blood. The sword is like a massacre, and then she activated her blood field. Prince Chu was surprised to see this field strength. And then she immediately attacked him. Prince Chu didn't run away, and came closer and closer to her. He said that the field was excellent, but unfortunately, her cultivation level wasn't enough. Prince Chu grabbed her by the throat, and wouldn't let go. The maiden told him to let her go, and called him a disgusting bastard. Prince Chu said that if she obeyed him, he would let her go right now without a word. The maiden was powerless against him, but because of her stubbornness, she said she would kill him. Immediately, someone attacked instead, and slashed Prince Chu's arm. He was surprised at this turn of events. Chu looked around and asked who did this. The guy on the mountain stood looking at them. He said that as he always said, Brother Xiong, strong man who bullies a girl can't be good. The guy attacked Chu and said that he was ready to fight him. But Chu managed to dodge his attack and move away. The guy said he hasn't seen Chu in years, but he's still so lecherous. Prince Chu said to Prince Chi, was he following him? She asked him. He only found out about it now. The maiden said that the two princes in front of her are Chu and Chi. And now she's in big trouble. Chu told Chi that he's a bastard and will avenge his severed hand. Chi told him to get out of here. This Xuantian's secret treasure belongs to the Chi kingdom. Chu told him not to rejoice too soon. Immediately, he used his magic and grew another arm to replace the severed arm. Chi asked, is it regeneration? There were rumors that the royal family of the Chu kingdom practiced devilish techniques. It seems to be true. Prince Chu said that Chi is about to feel the secret of the Chu kingdom. He'll die right here, Chi said, so Chu would let him show him some of the Chi realm's best techniques. Attacking each other, they converged on the middle where both did not yield, and a strong and bright light appeared. From such power, the maiden could not keep her balance, and the gate was also destroyed. At that moment the earth shattered and the maiden fell into the tunnel that had been destroyed by the princes. The maiden got to her feet and saw that she had entered a dungeon. It must be under the Xiantian Formation, she thought. The maiden said that the Great Xiantian Formation had been destroyed by the wave of attack from these two people. Prince Chi said, "It seems like there really is a Xiantian secret treasure here." She said that he hoped they were the ones who destroyed the formation. The maiden said that she was Xingnu from the Blood Lotus sect, and thanked Chi for saving her. Prince Chi said that she didn't need to thank him, he had always hated this guy, so it was fine. She shouted to Chu to come downstairs. Chu said not to make the maiden angry, let them just talk. Chu said since they found the treasure, how about the three of them team up? The maiden said that they would discuss cooperation if they found the secret treasure. Chu said, "Isn't the secret treasure right here?" The maiden turned around and asked, "Is this where Xuantian's secret treasure is located?" She said that it looks like it is. Chu said secret treasure on a first-come first-served basis. And of course he's one step ahead. She said if they let this guy get the treasure first, I'm afraid they won't get any benefit from it. The maiden said that they shouldn't let him get ahead of them. She thought for a moment, and agreed with her. She suggested to the maiden that they join forces and kill him, and then split the treasure. And then on the second stage, Fatty on the way out started to notice that something had gone off in here. Fan said something was exploding outside. The fat man asked in surprise, how could this be? Had someone else discovered the formation? Fan said, if that's the case, then I'm afraid that someone has already destroyed the Xiantian formation and infiltrated this place, and now they must pass the test faster and take the remaining treasure. The fat man said that's right. The fat man yelled for the next level of the challenge to begin. After all, they were already ready for her. The voice said the goal of the challenge is to defeat all the puppets. This level tests their strength. Good luck to everyone. And then Fatty said it was time to start, and boxes appeared in front of him, from which the robot emerged. Fatty gained strength, and said that they were just a few puppets. Let him take care of them. The puppet stood still, and upon the Fatty's approach, it immediately punched him. Even Fan didn't have time to tell him to wait. The Fatty couldn't handle it, and flew back against the wall. Fan saw him and immediately shouted to him. He said it's okay, and it looks like the puppets were merciful. Otherwise, he would have died right here. Fan said that the second level of the test was really difficult. And then he saw the puppet attacking him, and was surprised at his speed. Fan decided to put his defenses up against it, but Puppet pierced his defenses with his fist. Fan was surprised and said that he had broken through his defense so easily. Before he could say a word, the puppet attacked him once more. The puppet's strength was so great that Fan made a notch with his body right in the ground. Fan said that these puppets are probably stronger, the fetus seed realm, and he's sure they'll succeed in overpowering them. When Chu came to town, he came out disgruntled and was very angry. The boys asked him what was wrong. Wu said for them to see that the 2 treasure vaults were open too. The maiden asked if someone had already been here. And then Chu saw the passage and shouted to get his treasure back. Chu directed his attack into the passageway, from which the fat man saw that there was an explosion and didn't understand at first. Fan asked him what was going on. He turned around and saw smoke with people heading towards them. Chu asked who dared to take the secret treasure right in front of him. Just then, the maiden recognized the guys again and said it was them. Fatty said that stubborn girl came again. Chu asked the lion, do they know each other? Are they from their Church of the Holy Spirit? Virgo said no, they are her enemies. Chu said since they are her enemies, he will help her get rid of them. And then Chu attacked Fan, but got kicked by Puppet, which sent him flying backwards. Puppet said that outsiders are forbidden to interfere while the test is in progress. Chu told the puppet to stay out of his fun, and immediately attacked him, and told him to get away. And then the puppet didn't expect this blow, and was attacked by Prince Chu. Fan said that guy is so strong. The puppet stopped, and began to heal Chu's attack, turning itself uninjured. Chu said it was the first time he had ever seen the puppet regenerate. And then the puppets all came together and attacked Chu, because in the moment, they're all united for each other. Maiden said they didn't need to mess with those puppets. And that's when Chu got angry at her answer. The maiden told them to just grab the pran in blue and make him give up the treasure he had gotten. And then Fawn was surprised by her words, and said, what is she talking about? She said that in the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion, only the strong deserve everything. Chu laughed, and said it wasn't a problem at all. Attacking Fan, he said to give him everything he had. Fawn dodged his attack, and Chu said let him surrender, and maybe he'll keep him alive. The puppets said they would then wait until they settled their grievances before testing. Fang said that he wouldn't be polite to him, and attacked Prince Chu with the immortal True Sutra Xuanwu. Chu asked, "What's that?" And then Fang didn't feel sorry for him, and unleashed all of his power straight at him. The force was so great that Chu was sealed against the wall. He said that this guy's cultivation level was so low, but how could he explode with such power? The maiden said it was just in a few days. Was this guy able to increase his strength that much? She said that this guy is not an easy guy. Fatty said that Fan had become many times stronger than he was a few days ago. Chu looked at Fan and said that the energy coming from him was unusual and unfamiliar to him. The puppet said it was Sinai Wu. Chu got to his feet and asked Fan what his name was. The guy said his name was Fang Yu. Chu looked at him and said that he was the first grandson of the Fang family. Chu said that it just so happens that their family and his family kingdom have some disagreements. Fang said just now, most of his spiritual power was used up. I'm afraid he will be seriously injured if he repels this blow. And then Chu attacked him, determined to kill Fan. But out of nowhere, an attack came and attacked Chu in midair. The puppet ordered Chu to stop. Chu asked him why he was helping this child. Puppet said he was forbidden to fight someone who had passed the test. Fang asked, "Did he pass the test?" The puppet said right, and ordered him to follow to the next room. Before it's too late, Puppet opened a portal to Fan, and the portal ate him whole. Chu asked what was even going on here. The puppet said that he had passed the second test, after which he was sent to the Xiantian room to receive his reward. And then Chu got even more angry and asked the puppet how he passed the second test. The puppet said it's the other guy's turn to be tested. Chu showed his fist and said that he would break them all. Bastard puppets. Fatty thought, what should he do? The maiden told him that his young master had left him. And then the fat man smiled as he looked at her. The maiden told him not to worry, he wouldn't be alone. She will take care of him. The fat man told the mistress to hurry up. At that moment, Fang entered another world, and noticed something in it. Seeing a light in the distance, he asked what was it? And then a voice from the light said that Fang was the one he was looking for. Fang asked the voice, "And who is it?" And then a silhouette began to appear through the light, after which it turned into a person. Fang said, "Could it be that he?" And then the old man told the young man not to think about it. "He is Xiantian." Fang said he was greeting the elder. If he knew he was here meditating, he wouldn't have dared to disturb him. May the elder forgive him. Xiantian told Fan that he didn't have to be so polite. He was just a remnant of a soul. Fang asked, "So does that mean he passed the test?" Although he doesn't know how he did it. Xiantian said it was because of the power of Xuanwu in his body. Fang asked, what can he see his Xuanwu power? The elder said that he had connections with Xuanwu, and he was very familiar with the Xuanwu power he was using. Fang said, it comes out that many people will be able to see his Xuanwu power. The elder said not to worry, very few people in the world have seen Xuanwu's strength. Fan asked him, is it true? Then he feels relieved. The elder told him to come up to him and get his prize. The elder waved his fingers and ordered him to appear. And then crystals appeared nearby, with eggs on top of them. Fang asked the elder, what is this? And also such a familiar energy. Something he recalled to him. The elder said naturally, it was familiar to him. It was something with Xuanwu's strength. And then the elder said that these were Xuanwu's eggs. At that moment, a beam pierced the gate and came out into the light. The king saw this light from another world and said that it did appear after all. And then Tianba said, what a terrible omen. The king asked now why he was here. Tianba said his grandson is inside, so he had to come. The king said he thought Fang felt it too. Tianba said that the Xiantian secret treasure had been found, but he didn't expect that the Xiantian secret treasure would turn out to be this. The king said that the greatest treasure of the water tribe has appeared. The king of the sea sharks will definitely come. The elder said for Fang to take these 3 Xuanwu eggs. Fang said that it was such a valuable treasure. Is he really going to give them away? The elder said yes. This is a great opportunity for him to get Xuanwu's eggs. Fang asked him how he got the 3 eggs. The elder said, he stole them. Stole, wondered Fan? The elder said that he knew that Xuanwu had reached the spawning stage, so he took the opportunity. He had tried to get the 3 Xuanwu eggs, but he had in no way expected it to have tremendous power during her period of weakness. He fought with Xuanwu for 3 days and 3 nights. They fought until they reached the Qi realm. At this time, he and Xuanwu were seriously injured, so he used a secret technique to temporarily trap her. He then returned to Xuanwu's nest to steal those 3 eggs before she returned. At that moment, the guardian came home and did not find his balls. He drove his fist into the ground in anger. He said that after all these years, his Xuanwu heritage has finally made itself known. But who dares to touch his Xuanwu heritage? The guard told Lisha to come over to him. Lisha asked the Lord, did he call out to him? The guard told him to go to the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion, and take the Xuanwu's legacy. He should have already sensed its location. The guys stood in front of the gate, and said that the treasure and Xiantian's sects were right here. The guy said there's only one stone pillar here. How will they find the secret treasure? The guy said that he was told by the master that there was a hidden formation here. If they could break it, they would get a secret treasure. And then through the red portal they heard voices, like someone saying that this was the place they needed to go. The guys asked who it was. Lisha came out and said that there were some ants in front of him. The guy said it was the water tribe? How did he get into the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion? After all, it's sealed by a demonic barrier. Lisha said he can't be stopped by a simple seal. Get them out of here or he'll kill them. The guy said that demon was so arrogant, and suggested that the others get rid of him, and then all 3 of them attacked him. But Lisha stood still and just used the water attack. Lisha said they are just scum and will say that this facet is the eye of the formation. This low-level information couldn't be difficult for him. Immediately, he decided to attack him with his power. Meanwhile, a battle was going on inside, between the guys and the puppets, where Chu was losing to them by a wide margin on offense. Chu said that it looks like he can't defeat these puppets alone. The 3 of them need to team up. And then the Virgin also attacked, and wanted to send the fat man to hell. But the fat man held fast and defended himself against her. Fatty said that it was Fan who left him alone to deal with that evil rat. The maiden said that she was afraid that the fat man would lack the spiritual strength to create an escape array as a pity, and then the Virgin showed her power on her hand and said she would give him a quick death. The fat man said he had a secret he hadn't told her. The maiden said whatever the fat man said, he still couldn't save his life. And then a hole collapsed right next to her. Did they all realize at once that someone else had destroyed the formation? And then Lisha appeared in front of them. Lisha smiled and said that there were quite a few people here. The maiden asked him, is it a demon? Chu said that the formation of the Heavenly Lion's secret realm could prevent demons from entering. Could it be that the formation had disappeared? The puppet told Lisha that only humans are allowed to enter, and they are asking him to leave the ordeal. Lisha said for them to remake Xuanwu's heritage. At this, the puppet immediately pounced on him. The League said it seems these puppets have a mind of their own, but it's still no use. Lisha launched his attack and vaporized the puppet's arm. But she didn't give up and attacked again, but with the beam. Lisha took the arm attack and said it was useless. The lights are too weak. Call out the one behind them. And activated the battering ram fist, and then the other puppets said that number 2 was completely destroyed. Chu said that such a strong puppet was destroyed in one blow. Deva said that even if they joined forces, they wouldn't be able to defeat him. Lisha asked, are there other people here? Lisha asked no. Then he would kill them slowly and painfully before he found Xuanwu's heritage. After applying all 3 eggs, Fan asked, is the fusion complete? Immediately, the 3 eggs rose into the air and stabbed into Fan's chest. Fang fell to his knees and opening his eyes asked, what was going on? How did they get into his body? The elder told him not to worry. They had simply entered his consciousness. All he had to do was to trigger his divine sense to summon them. And then Fang came and began to calling him. He asked, is it him? The elder said it was the spirit of Xuanwu. The elder said that it was, like him, a remnant soul with consciousness. And then Xuanwu told the man that they had met again. The elder said yes, and he is very happy to meet him again. Xuanwu said that he and the old man were used. He did not meet by chance. Does he understand? The elder asked. Xuanwu wants to say that it has to do with the 9 heavens? Xuanwu said they can't understand what is on the mind of the 9 heavens. The elder said truly, the thoughts of the 9 heavens are not for him to know. Fang asked, who are the 9 heavens? The elder told him to forget it. The less he knows, the safer he will be. Xuanwu told Fan that his children were in his hands. Let him be kind. In exchange he would channel his remaining forces into 3 attacks, which will destroy everything but the 9 heavens. Fang said he would treat them as if they were his brothers. Xuanwu said he was relieved. He's got a lot of luck, kid. With his aura it won't be hard for them to recognize him as their master, and it's already time for him to go. Xuanwu told Xiantian that they would meet again in the next life. Immediately, he sent 3 rays into Fan's body. The elder told Fang to raise these 3 little ones well. They have a chance of becoming true spiritual beings. Before he leaves, he wants to ask him one thing. Fang said if he wanted him to do something, just have him do it. And then the elder said for him to show up. The elder said this is the supreme treasure of the Xiantian sect, the divine cauldron of Kyushu. Now the Xiantian sect is based on power, but does he know that in the beginning, their sect was a holy place for alchemists? He took the treasure and never came back. He thinks the Xiantian sect is not the same as before. Fang told him not to worry, it would return to his sect. The elder said that not only would Fan bring it back to his sect, he would also become its patriarch. Fan was very surprised and asked the elder, does he want Fan to become the patriarch of the sect? The elder said that the Xiantian sect is currently in a mess. Therefore, he wants Fang to become the head of the sect and return with the divine Shushu cauldron to reorganize the sect and make it prosperous. Fang said that he couldn't. Not to mention that the Xiantian sect has a patriarch now, plus it's a big responsibility. He just wants to live peacefully. The elder said that there is no patriarch as such. One of the rules of the Xiantian sect is to recognize a patriarch, one who will show the divine Kyushu cauldron. He can keep this cauldron. It contains the world's most abnormal potion-making methods. Fang can study them. And this token contains the last imprint of his memory. It can confirm his identity. The elder handed him the seal and told him he was leaving. He must take care of himself in the future. If he can ever enter the heavenly path, be careful of the 9 heavens. Fang said to him, see you soon. At this moment, the maiden fought, and attacked with a bloody lotus of karmic flame. Lisha stood still and didn't move at this moment. Lisha told her, can't she see he's a water creature? Fire is definitely not going to help her today. And then Lisha turned all the steam there, and through it attacked the maiden, though to send her to hell. The maiden said, what is he so fast? But then in a moment of attack, she grabbed his arm, and blocked the blow. She said, don't underestimate them. Lisha said that it was a small skill. And then the maiden used the blood lotus binding. Immediately, Lisha was immediately grabbed, and tied up in ropes. Lisha watched and marveled at how lucky they were. Chu took his magic step and told Lisha to look back. Immediately he attacked him, nodded up. Chu was overjoyed, and said that now he was dead. And then the maiden said that Chu was deeply wrong and wrong. Lisha stepped out of the trap and told the guys how dare they hurt him. Immediately, he walked over to Chu. He didn't talk to him and attacked him at once. From such a strong blow, Chu was sealed to the wall. Lisha looked around and said there were 2 more left, and told them to come to him quickly so he wouldn't run after them. And then he used magic and she didn't realize what was happening. He couldn't control his body. Lisha told she that they had a good plan. And then he punched him right in the face. She crashed against the rocks, and started spitting blood from the hard impact. And Lisha looked and said there was 1 more left. The fat man spoke so that the maiden wouldn't distort him. He must create a teleportation array and escape from here. No, he can't besiege Fan. At that moment, Lisha attacked the maiden, and took her underwater captivity. The fat man looked and saw that he had killed them all so quickly, and then he also realized that he wasn't looking for the fat guy. And then Lisha crept up behind him and said, here comes the last one. Lisha grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and said he'd almost forgotten about him, the little rat. The fat man said he was a stinking salted fish. His master wouldn't let him go. Lisha said that boy is still talking nonsense. Let him go to hell then. And then upon making the attack, Lisha's arm stopped. He didn't realize what had happened, or how it happened. It was Fan. He used his magic and told the demon to let him go. Immediately it attacked him and cut his arm. Lisha said, it was a familiar smell. But it was too late, for he too was sealed to the ground, properly. The fat man said that his master had finally come. Just then, Lisha stood up and said that Xuanwu's legacy was in his hands. Fatty said, How can this demon stay alive with such wounds? And then Lisha said about Xuanwu's inheritance. Lisha said that if Fang gave the inheritance to Xuanwu, he would be forced to take it from his corpse. And then he pulled out his water blades and pointed it right at the guys, hoping they'd die. Fang told the fatty to open the teleportation array. The fatty said it would take time to open it. He has to delay the demon. Immediately, the fat man began to use his powers and open a portal. Lisha was surprised to see the teleportation array. Lisha told the guy not to dare to run away, but to give him Xuanwu's heritage. And immediately sent a big water bomb at them. Fang said he'll borrow the power from Xuanwu's egg. 10% of Xuanwu's indestructible power. Lisha couldn't and attack as the beam pierced him, and at the aftermath he said it was impossible. At this moment, Fatty also managed his task, and said that everything was ready, and told Fan to hurry up. Did the Maiden see that this guy got the secret treasure? If they don't get rid of him in the future, he will become a problem. The guys moved to another world, a brighter one, and again the fat guy landed badly. He couldn't keep up. Fan asked, "What is this place?" Fatty said, "How would he know?" "It's a random teleportation." Fan asked, "They are still in the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion, right?" Fatty said, "Of course, the Heavenly Lion's secret realm has an area of 10,000 miles. The distance of its teleportation arrays is only 500 miles. Fan said that at least they had been moved to a nice place where they could rest for a few days. Fan suggested that the fat man catch a fish and have a good meal. And then he began to feel that there was something wrong with his ring. Immediately, from his chest, flew a beam straight into the lake. Fan said it was Xuanwu's eggs. The fat man said that the secret treasure that had been hard-won was easy to obtain. Fang said no. That aura, and immediately those 3 eggs appeared in front of him, cracking and revitalizing. Fang shouted that Xuanwu's eggs started to hatch after coming into contact with the water. And then the guard asked, "Did the rabid shark get killed?" The guardian said that in the end, he has to do everything himself. The direction of the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion. Tianba asked, "What kind of demonic energy is that?" "He's sure the king feels it too." The king said that the Sea Clan had invaded the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion. This strong demonic energy belongs to none other than the Sea Shark King. Tianba said, "The Sea Shark Rabbit? Is he here because of the secret treasure?" The king said the king of the sea sharks is cruel and unusual, and now he was afraid that their children would be in great danger. So he told Tianba to go with him to the secret kingdom. The king said they would stop him before he did massive damage. Immediately they opened the doors. Upon entering the secret realm, they immediately came across a pile of corpses of children who had been killed by the Sea King. Tianba was surprised and said that they were too late. If this continues, the disciples of the local sects will be killed by the king of the sea sharks. And the moment there was an explosion in front of them, Tianba said it was the king of sharks there. At that time, he was killing 2 guys. The Shark King shouted for the guy who took Xuanwu's heritage, let him appear before him and bow down. At this moment, the king and Tianba attacked him from behind, but it was to no avail. He asked, "Who is it?" Tianba decided to attack, and let his energy flow and told him to surrender. That king used his seal, and repelled the attack. The Shark King said, "That's how they are, guys." The king told him, "They have an agreement not to interfere with each other." So he infiltrated the secret realm of the Sky Lion. The Shark King said that this ridiculous secret realm of the Celestial Lion had existed since ancient times. From now on, this is his territory. The king said that he is sure that the Shark King is here because of the secret treasure that appeared in this secret kingdom. The king said that this secret treasure was Xuanwu's heritage. Today it appeared. He couldn't let this opportunity pass. Xuanwu is an aquatic spirit animal. This heritage by nature belongs to him. The king said that it turns out to be Xuanwu's legacy. It seems that it won't be of much use to the Chu kingdom, so to avoid more casualties, it's better to give it away. Tianba said that whether it was Xuanwu's inheritance or something else, he wouldn't get anything from here today. The Shark King asked Tianba, "Has he lost his mind? Does he really need to fight for something that won't do him any good?" Tianba thought that Xuanwu's heritage was necessary for his grandson. He wouldn't let him take it away from him. Tianba used his staff magic and split it into several pieces. And in a moment, he attacked the king. The Shark King asked, "Is this a formation?" Immediately, those staffs bound him, with white beams on different sides. The Shark King said that as expected of Tianba, only he could use such a powerful formation. Tianba got angry and used the staff unification, and said that the fatal blow depended on him, Lord Chu. Lord Chu said that he understood Tianba, and took out his heavenly sword. And with a cannon arrow, he attacked this formation. Tianba asked the king, did he get rid of him? The king said he was afraid, but it was possible that the Shark King was still alive. And then the King of Sharks came alive and said he was really weak on land. And then the King of Sharks used his sea stream, and told him to appear. The king said no. He led the waters of the vast sea to the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion. The water immediately arrived in the secret realm, and covered the entire forest with water. Tianba said that now he did not know how many more souls would be affected. The Shark King started laughing and said welcome to his home. He will show them the terror of the sea. The king used the water and said that the waters of the vast sea were subject to him. The king said it would be hard to deal with now. Apparently they need reinforcements. Immediately the king attacked, and told them they had no chance of winning. So they did. The water cycle captured the king and Tianba. The Shark King said that this was his home from which they would never escape. And then he noticed that the trap was breaking. Immediately a seal flew out in front of him, which the Shark King marveled at. And it broke his trap. The king asked Tianba, did he destroy it? Tianba said he didn't know yet. The king said he is still in his original form. Immediately a shark attacked them across the water, and it was the King of Sharks. Tianba saw it, and told the king to dodge. The king told Tianba that the only way to defeat the King of the Sea Sharks was to seal the Fangtian. And then Tianba used the Fangtian seal, and told him to move back. And at that moment, the Shark King ate the seal. Tianba said it's not good. His Fangtian seal. The Shark King said that this seal is so saturated with spiritual energy. The Shark King turned back and said that was enough. What else could they offer him? Tainab told the Shark King that he would make him regret it. Let him return his precious seal. The Shark King spit out the rest of the seal and said he would give it back to him. Tianba said it was his seal. The Shark King attacked him and told him to get lost now. He's had enough. It's time to unleash his sea army. At this point the eggs began to hatch and the boys were surprised to see the girls standing in front of them. And then one of the girls called Fan Master and said that they had finally met him. She hugged him and said that she had already felt the love of a master. The fat man said it wasn't fair. The girl told Azzy not to ever be rude to her master. Azzy said, well sister. At this moment, Fan tried to say that he couldn't breathe. Fan told them that they were Xuanwu's children, hatched from eggs. The girl said yes. Thanks to the power of Xuanwu, Master accelerated their transformation into human form. Master let him just call her Xiao Bai. Fan asked, why hasn't one hatched so far? Was it because of a lack of spiritual power? He should have brought more spiritual stones. Bai told the master, don't worry, they need spiritual power to hatch, they rely on their own thoughts. She thinks Elpios-san should still have some thoughts of her own. That's why she hasn't accepted yet. Fan said he was relieved, but what are their plans for the future? As he said that in the future they will always be by his side. And then the fat man came over and told the younger sister that his name was Meow, and he was wondering if she wanted one. As he apologized and said she doesn't like fat people. The fat man said that this was the 101 rejections of his life. And then Fang saw birds in the sky and asked what was going on. Bai said that it seemed like they were in trouble. Fan looked around and said that it was water. Who cast such a massive spell in the secret realm? Bai said it's the aura of the sea race. There are powerful demons nearby. Fan told them both to get back in the ring. Immediately they moved into it. Fang told the fat man to open the teleporter. They need to get out of here. Fatty said for Fang to give him some time. The fat man said they were all set, and it was time for them to get out of here. And then the water caught up with them, and the fat man didn't see Fan. Fang shouted to Meow that he was fine, and told him to go first. He has the strength to defend himself. Meow said that they would then meet in front of the gates of the Heavenly Lion's secret realm. At this moment, the guys also got out of the cave, and Chu said that how could it be that the Heavenly Lion's secret realm was flooded with water. The maiden said, it looks like someone deliberately flooded the secret realm of Heaven over with seawater. Chu asked, intentionally flooded? She said he was afraid that the only one capable of summoning seawater was a kraal of sea sharks. Chu said that with their spiritual power, They can only fly a few thousand miles. I'm afraid they won't be able to fly across this ocean. The maiden said it looks like they're trapped here. Now all that's left is to wait for help. Just then, the fat man landed right next to the enemy. The maiden saw the portal and asked who it was. The maiden smiled and said it was him, the fat bastard. Fatty said, "What the hell, them again?" Chu asked him where his fan. The fat man looked at them and said that he would definitely die this time. The maiden said that it seems he and fate are destined to meet wherever they are. This time he will do nothing to save himself. And then Maiden decided to use her magic and kill Fatty. She stopped her and told her not to kill him yet. Virgo said, "What's the point of keeping that fat trash?" She said, "This guy is a formation master, right? They are stuck here and can get out with the help of his teleportation formation." She told the fat man to talk about cooperating. If he opens the formation and sends them out of here, Fatty said the guy wants him to cooperate with him. Only in their dreams. The maiden released magic and said, since he doesn't want to cooperate with them, then let him go to hell. Fatty said for her to wait. Who can guarantee that when he uses the teleport formation, they won't kill him? She told him not to worry. He swears on the name of the Chi royal family, he guarantees his safety. The fat man said, well, he will believe her. But he needs to rest for 2 days because he has used up a lot of spiritual energy. And from now on, let them be more polite to him. Maiden said she would kill him right now. And then Chu said for the guys to look over there. He said that a large number of demons are approaching. And they're all very strong. In the other side, Fan cultivated his strength, and said that thanks to the Xuanwu attribute, he was able to move freely in the water. And then he used his powers, and hovered over the water like a true magician. He looked around and said that the area had turned into a sea, and then he noticed that there was an island in the middle of the sea. And he went straight there. Upon landing he saw a building that looked like a tomb, or was it another ancient heritage? As he came closer, he said that it couldn't be a coincidence. And used the Xuanwu avalanche fist. With a crushing blow, he was able to destroy the gate of the tomb. And he saw that there was a deep pit. And he decided to see what was in there. When he went down he said that there was another cave here. But then some beast appeared in front of him, and he did not understand who it was. But suddenly the beast started attacking Fan, and the guy saw it, and was able to dodge the attack. Fang said, "Where did the huge snake come from?" But the snake kept up with him, and Fan used the Xuanwu binding sword. From such tremendous strength, the snake swallowed him up. But by the minute, it began to tear itself to pieces. Fan said that it was close. Fortunately his strength had increased significantly. If it had happened a few days ago, he would have died by now. Fan realized that this place was guarded by a demonic beast. There must be a treasure inside. Fang headed inside and said that he hoped there were no more various mechanisms and tests inside. Going deep into the cave, Fang said that this seemed to be the end. He saw another entrance in front of him. He said he was going to go check it out. But in a moment he stopped and saw that there was a skeleton in the middle. But Fan noticed that it wasn't a simple skeleton, but it was actually golden. And he thought, how did they manage to create a golden body? But he also saw that there was a huge sword that was made of 10,000-year-old iron. Fan touched the sword and said he would get rich. But after pulling it out, he didn't realize what had happened. Half of the sword remained in his hands. He saw that the sword had disappeared. This skeleton is surrounded by spiritual energy, not sure if it is the remains of a great man from the past. Fang touched him and said that he would bury the elder. If he stands like this, he will turn to dust sooner or later. And then the skeleton spoke and told Fang that he was good for coming here. Fang was frightened because the skeleton was talking. Fang said that he had never encountered anything so supernatural before. Immediately, the skeleton got to its feet and started laughing loudly. After a couple minutes, the skeleton began to deform and turn into a human. But she turned out to be a girl, quite beautiful. Fang said she was talking. He asked the girl what she was, human or ghost? The girl told him not to be nervous. Let him come over and accept her heritage. Fang said they were joking. Who would want to accept a legacy from an unknown ghost? The girl said he wouldn't be able to escape. The girl undertook her fire magic, and grabbed Fan while escaping. Fan, being tied up, said that he couldn't control his body. Fan saw the girl touching him and asked her, "Is he going to die now?" The girl asked, "Why was he trying to escape?" This is his big chance. She said she didn't expect it to have Xuanwu heritage. She really hit the jackpot. Fang asked, how did she know he had an aura of Xuanwu? He was hiding it very well. The girl said she's lived for tens of thousands of years. Xuanwu's aura cannot be hidden from her eyes. Let him accept her legacy. She wouldn't treat him badly. Fang asked if she had anything to do with the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion. The girl said that this secret realm of the Heavenly Lion was just a training ground for her. She had created many secret places like this one. Fan said it's so great. Once he has time, he will definitely run away. The girl told him not to try to escape, the way he would accept her as his master. Her skill is the Dharma body technique. If a guy learns this technique, he will have a Dharma body. The body will be the same as the original body. Fang asked, the Dharma body? He heard that only those who have attained the realm of great virtue can possess this body. The girl said yes, but this technique has no restrictions on the cultivation level of the Dharma body. He can practice it even if he is at the opening level of the sea. Fang said that in that case, master, he asks her to accept him as an apprentice. The girl said that's great. The girl said that since the guy called her master, he would treat him as his own. Let them hurry up and start training. She can't stay in this body for long. Fang said, why was her physical body, which had such tremendous power, destroyed? The girl said it's because of Jutian. But she doesn't want to talk about it. Fan asked, Jutian again? The girl said that she forgot to tell him that there was a strong imprisonment spell here. Now he won't be able to escape from here unless he learns her Dharma body technique. The girl said that she would only be able to train him for 10 days. If he couldn't understand this technique within 10 days, then he would be imprisoned here forever. Fang was surprised at the 10 days of training. After all, he wasn't some kind of genius at this technique. The girl said it was simple enough for the guy to accept the legacy. Immediately, she handed it over to Fan. The girl said the inheritance was finalized. How's he feeling? Fang said he almost died. Wasn't there a less painful method? The girl said that he was only in pain because his cultivation level was too low. Fang asked, had he mastered the Dharma body technique yet? And then he applied it, and saw something coming out. But then he said that nothing seems to have changed. He just feels like there are a lot of scriptures running through his head. The girl said he was an idiot. Surely with her instruction he would be able to understand the scriptures. Fan said that if he cultivated here for 10 days, what about food and water? The girl said he didn't have to worry about it. She would bring him food and water. In the sky, something terrible was happening. Demons attacked human territory, and they began to destroy and kill. The boys tried to fight them, and the maiden was so strong that she attacked them alone. The fat man hid behind a rock and regarded. He said thankfully the boys were here. If he had been alone, he would have been eaten alive. The maiden told the fat man, stop hiding, have him open the teleportation formation and get them out of here. Open a teleportation formation? They are surrounded by water. If you teleport into the water, everyone will drown. The maiden killed the demon and said the fat man was a stupid pig. Sooner or later they will die at the hands of these water creatures. The fat man said he didn't want to die and he couldn't swim. The maiden said that if he goes on like this, he will die now. And then the fat man used teleportation formation and used magic to tell him to open up. He shouted to the others to run to him faster. Immediately they managed to teleport away, all of them together. The demon said it was a teleportation formation. The guard told the boss that they opened the formation and escaped. The demon boss said he tagged them. They wouldn't be able to leave. At this time, Tianba and the king were fighting with the demon boss. Tianba said that he would be very difficult to deal with. The reinforcements were blocked by the formation. The king said that their spiritual power was largely depleted. If they didn't replenish it, they would die sooner or later. The demon king started laughing and said they were so out of breath, they wouldn't have long to go. Tianba said that they had a serious loss of spiritual power. Then how come this sea shark king still had spiritual power? The shark king said he let the old man feel disappointed. He can absorb the spiritual power of the boundless sea. That means he is invincible in the sea. The king told Senior Fan to get out of here. They can't stay here. Sooner or later they will die. Tianba said well, and suggested we get out of here from the secret realm and send a signal to the reinforcements outside. Immediately they headed upwards. The Shark King asked them if they wanted to escape, and he used his magic to stop them. The Shark King said why don't they visit his formation of the Eyes of the Endless Sea? The king asked, what was the incredible suction power? Immediately they descended into the formation. The Shark King said they would feed the fish in the eye of the vast sea. Now the most important thing is to find Xuanwu's legacy. But it was strange why the Xuanwu heritage breath had disappeared. Could it be that the master of the Heavenly Lion's secret realm had hidden it? The Shark King said that the last place where there was a Xuanwu heritage aura was in this direction. He would find the legacy even if he had to turn the secret realm of the Heavenly Lion upside down. At this time, Fan cultivated his new technique, and practiced hard to master it. The girl said he was making good progress. It had only been 2 days and he had already broken through to the 4th level of the Dharma body technique. It looked like the breakthrough to level 9 was just around the corner. But then she got very sick and said that it looked like she wouldn't last much longer. And then Fang reached him and came out of the tomb. And he was surprised that it was destroyed so easily, although his cultivation level is at the deep sea level. But it seems like his strength has reached the Hongyuan realm. And then he decided that he needed to test the Dharma body technique. And using the force, he bifurcated and asked, is this really his body? Fang was surprised that his consciousness and body were linked. And the same level of cultivation? Wouldn't that give him double strength? The girl said that he cannot die yet until his body and Dharma body is destroyed. Which is his other physical body. But then Fang saw that there was something wrong with the teacher and told her about her body. The girl said that without the support of the formation, her body couldn't last any longer. Let Fan borrow her body for a while. The girl had told him not to worry. If she wanted to take his body, she would have done it the moment he entered the cave. The girl started to lose her body and said that time was running out, and immediately went to Fan's body. She said that her soul would temporarily reside in his sea of consciousness now there was a part of her cultivation in him. And then Fang said for the Dharma body to come back. The girl asked him, does he feel it? The secret realm of the Celestial Lion has been infiltrated by powerful demons who commit murder. Fan said yes, he feels it too. It's in the southwest. His partner is still in the secret realm. He has to go and rescue him. The girl said that now that he has her power he is able to fly through the air. Go and rescue your comrade. Here came night. The boys lit themselves afire, on the other side in the secret realm. The maiden told the fat man not to be nervous. The island they were on should be safe. Chu said that he wasn't going to let his guard down. Those monsters could find them at any moment. The maiden said that she had surveyed the entire island. There was no demonic energy within 100-mile radius here. Fatty told him not to worry either. He used all his spiritual power in this teleportation formation. These guys won't be able to find them so quickly. Maiden said there are no resources here. She doesn't even know where they can get food. She said that outside help should be coming soon. Only if they could hold out during that time. Just then, she was surprised and looked at the maiden's body. The girl surprisingly asked him, what's wrong? It was the slime that stood on the girl's clothes. Immediately it spread over her body, and took over. The fat man moved a distance away and asked, is it a monster? The maiden said, there are more and more of them. And then she decided to use her fire technique, and slayed these monsters with fire from the bonfire. The maiden asked, what are those things? She didn't even notice them. Chu said it's a trail left by those demons. They know where we are now. The maiden told the fat man to open the teleportation formation. They can't stay here. Fatty asked her, was she joking? How could he open a teleportation formation so many times in a short period of time with his cultivation level? And then the demons came out of the water in front of them, and the demon boss said all the kids are here. Chu said that the monsters found them so quickly, they would have to fight to the death this time. The demons said they couldn't escape anymore. And then Chu said they were now surrounded by all the demons. The boss said to get to work. Tear them apart. And then the demon told the boss that a powerful man seemed to be approaching from behind. The boss asked, was there another strong man left? The king had to take care of them all. At this moment, Fan used his Xuanwu energy. The demons saw him and asked, who is this? Fan didn't bother much, and used the power of speed and tore apart all the demons in his path. The fat man said it's the master. He is here to save him. She said, how did this guy from the Fang family become so strong?